back in 2017, I found myself in very unfamiliar territory. I was no longer in the military, and I was reintroducing myself to the civilian sector. Howdy, my name is Israel, and I am a veteran of the United States Army and United States Marine Corps, 25 years total in both services. I was enlisted, and for the last 8 years of my Army career, I was a U.S. Army officer. So I have a very different perspective from both different sides. And yeah, I just want to share with you, especially for those of you that are about to get out, or thinking about getting out, or just got out, or already out. Just some helpful information that I wish I had a mentor. I guess that's the term that I would use. And sometimes in the military, mentor is half the word. It's tormentor, right? You know what I'm saying. So instead of using the term that the Army uses, at least it used to back in 2017. I don't know what the term that they use now. They use transition, but for me, it's more reintegration because I went from being a civilian, a kid, to in the service, and then I got out. So it's a reintegration back into the civilian world, and so I want to get like the three main points, which is one is look at your thumb. Look at why people join the military. It could be very different things. Why people join. We're gonna take a look at that. We're gonna take a look at the uh, the culture, the military culture that you're leaving or that you're in. They're about to get out. What to do if you're 2 to 4 years out of separating from the military, and what to do if you're 1 year out. So I don't know if I might break them up into different videos, different episodes, but let's get into it. So very first thing is, and yeah, PowerPoint. You know what's up. Um, why did you serve? I think it takes a special type of person to dive into the unknown, as I have there. Because people could tell you like, oh man, the military's like this, the military's like that, but really, you won't know until you're in. And everyone has a varied experience. Some of it's good, unfortunately. Some of it's not so good. Even for me, that I can say most days it was good. Most every day was good. Every day was not good though. And but by and large, it was good. So the military is very discriminatory, right? If you're too fat, they're not gonna let you in, or they're not gonna let you stay in. If you can't physically keep up or achieve the minimum standards, then you can't get in. If you can't pass at the ASVAB for um, a certain minimum level, right? If you go to see the recruiter, way back when, if you remember when you went to the recruiter, if you can't score a minimum ASVAB, then you can't get in, right? Not everybody that wants to join can join, is eligible to join. So that's very important distinction. Because I mean, come on, like how many people have you heard? Oh yeah, used to be in the Army or the Navy or whatever, Marine Corps. Like yeah, I almost joined. Right? I mean, come on. Like every veteran has heard that story. Like, hey, I almost joined. Right? Whether you join for um, it's a legacy, right? Like my it wasn't the case for me, but for some people, it's my grandfather joined, or my grandparents joined, or my sister joined, my aunt, my uncle, dad, mom, whatever. So it's a legacy of people that has served the military, and sometimes people do that, right? So it's like, hey, I'm going to join, right? Because it's in my family does it, or you wanted some money for college. You're like, yeah, I can't, I want to go to college, but I don't have money for college, or like a lot of us, the love of country, right? It's the United States, red, white, and blue, the red, white, and you. And so thank you for all that people have served. Um, and so, yeah, the different reasons why people serve is varied. Um, and even I put there that you want to get out of town, right? You want to travel, right? You want to get out, Buzzard's Breath, Montana. Nothing against Montana. I'm just saying that, hey, if you want to just get out and travel, or you're from a small town that there isn't very many opportunities, you join the military, right? It's good. It's good. All right. Next, so let's think and reflect on the culture you are leaving, the military. It's very, very unique, and for many reasons, right? So we're about to dive into that. So the shared experiences and purpose, right? So when you go in, you go in the military, then um, and it doesn't matter which walk of life you're in, right? So when people join the military, they're exposed to they're exposed. No, they're exposed to different different walks of life, different cultures, even within the United States, right? You could be from Georgia, and then your roommate could be someone from New York City, right? Very different in terms of upbringing, and some very different or different social classes, right? Some grew up very poor, middle class, and then some other more affluent people. Um, but you're the shared experiences, whether it's basic training, whether it's train up to the National Training Center, or Yakima Training Center, or the JRTC, right? Is that it? Is that right? Where's Louisiana, Fort Polk? Or if it's a train up to go on a deployment, or whether it's a deployment, those experiences together really bring you together. That other job or professions, it there is no rival. Maybe cops, first responders, something like that, but in the military, that bond is or should be extremely close with each other, because you're embracing the suck together, man. You're living out of a wall locker. You're living in a tent. You're living in a Connex box, right? A container. What do they call them? Ichu? Is that Ichu? So yeah, I was deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan as well. To not at the same time, but you know what I'm saying, to both places. So um, being in those austere conditions, um, you draw close to one another. It's natural. You're facing challenges together, right? You have a lot of things in common, like PCSing. You know what that feels like, or when the army jacks up your pay, which that never happens. Wink, wink. That never happens, right? And so you have those shared experiences. Sometimes not all good, but nonetheless, you know what it feels like to be in other people's boots, so to speak. And let's get it. Next one. So you leave in the military. It's extremely structured. There's a hierarchy. There's a rank structure, and rightfully so, right? I had a general that I worked for. I was on his staff, and when we're in Afghanistan, he said, "The order of the day is good order and discipline every day." So, yeah, makes a lot of sense, right? And it's needed. That rank structure, um, people know or should know their roles and responsibilities. I mean, you know that E6 or staff sergeant is good. It outranks an E4. Right? So you know that, right? There is no, well, maybe I'm in charge today. No. Um, there's the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which we all who served fall under or should fall under. Ah, don't do it. Policy letters, there's regulations. So because of all that, there's order and discipline. Not so much out here in the civilian world, right? Like there is sometimes that void of um, of of knowing what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and we as actually now, and I'm on year 8 of being out, and I do enjoy the autonomy of having that flexibility where it's not so rigid. However, I do still like that structure, and when appropriate, I put in a an SOP, standard operating procedure, or a policy. That way, there's a standard applied to across the board to all folks, all people, and there's not that ambiguity. Like, well, you did it for that person, but not for this person, right? So no, you gotta squash all that. There's a standard, and that's it. So that's one of the things that maybe if you're getting out, like be prepared. That's not always a given, right? There's always going to be some structured as you had it in the military. All right, camaraderie, mutual accountability. So here, and I alluded to that before in that shared experience and that purpose. You do get that close knit. I mean, I just have to examine my own. If I not that I hang out on Facebook, but if I see them, if I take an audit of the majority of my friends, like excluding family, right? Just my friends, or blood related, but my friends, the the majority, the preponderance of them are veterans that I met either in the Marine Corps or in the Army, and it's a like that. It's a lot like that for a lot of veterans, and there's that mutual accountability. Man, if somebody's just messing up, like, dude, what are you doing? Right? There's that, um, and even peers amongst peers, there's that. Man, come on, man, you're you're messing it up for all of us, right? Don't bring the heat down on us. You know what I'm talking about. And resilience. So you're leaving the military culture, and they speak resilience. They model it. Well, they should model it, and there is definitely a place for it. Being resilient, either physically, mentally, right? If there's things going on, and it's all geared towards combat, winning wars. Whatever happens to the left and the right, just keep on keeping on, and definitely has a role. Definitely has a place. That mental and physical toughness, that grit, that makes us extremely good at what we do when you're in. And out here in the military, sometimes, or I'm sorry, out here in the civilian world or in the private sector, whatever you want to call it, it can be a detriment in that people would sometimes use that against you, knowing that hey, you're gonna bang it out, right? You're gonna do good. Um, you're gonna maybe work long hours. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that for the team, right? So just be careful of that, because out here in the private sector, you should get compensated for that. If you're gonna be going above and beyond, you should be recognized and compensated for it. Language and humor. All right. Now it's like going to Monday mornings, like in the motor pool. You know what I'm talking about. Don't be crazy. Don't get crazy on me. You know what I'm talking about. And you hear all what happened on the weekend, and every other word is an F bomb or sugar honey iced tea or GD, which I can't stand that one. But come on, man, really? That has a place, and not so much out here in the civilian world in the private sector. People will usually be a little off-putting, like, or dropping off an f-bomb during the meeting, like, blankety blank blank. So it isn't so easily acceptable. Colorful language. So just be cognizant of that. Start cleaning up your language. Start using other words. Um, oh, fiddlesticks, right? Something like that. And humor. You got those memes that you share with your veterans. It's almost like you got two lists. You got like the memes for your military friends or your veteran friends, and then you got ones for like, yeah, they might not, they might be offended on this one, or they might not see the humor. But veterans can, can have a very acquired taste in terms of humor, you know. So, um, like, and if it's like your first week in the private sector or civilian, job, you start sharing some memes that, yeah, you might as well just, yeah, don't do that, man. Just take a knee. Don't share those memes just yet until you know who your coworkers are. So this is a big one right here. Is assess your health. So, all right. So whether it's, and I'm going to get into it later on, but assessing your health in the big scheme of things is really preparing your claim with the Veteran Affairs. And when I say it's, I always liken a veteran's claim um, for compensation or for disability, should I say, to get compensated, as your as I'm the plaintiff. I put in a claim, and the defendant is the United States government. And I'm going to say, hey, my leg, when I was 18 years old, I went in like this. And now you fast forward 25 years later, and I'm like this. And now my knee hurts, hip hurts. I broke this, I pulled that, I, right? Whatever that injury is. And the defense, the United States government is going to say, well, where's the evidence? Right? If the glove don't fit, what's that? Huh? Yeah, you must have quit, right? Remember that, OJ? So, I'm also Gen X too, so you're gonna catch some of those old man humor at times. So, assessing your health, you got to make sure that that resilience that I spoke to before, right? That you start taking care of yourself, and I say that the food groups that sometimes veterans sustain themselves on is right there. Is tobacco, nicotine, caffeine, alcohol, and sugar. And I'm not saying, I mean, I've been there, or I am there in some cases, um, but those things can, as you age, as you get older, or as I get older, now I'm realizing that those things have a serious effect on me, on my body, and so um, it's and let me preface by everything what I'm going to share with you is we owe it to the people that love us to be the best version of ourselves, and sometimes we have a self-destructive veterans do to cope, um, whatever that whatever we use it to the band-aid or the mask, whatever pain we have, and you know what I'm I don't have a psychology degree or anything, so I'm just saying at times the things that we medicate ourselves with, whether it's alcohol or even drugs at times, or whatever food. Sometimes people just want to eat, and they eat themselves to death. Um, all those things, they're gonna catch up to you and me, and so it's good to seek help, really assess. Hey, like my lifestyle, like, dude, am I gonna do? And when I was 18, I wasn't thinking about when I was 40, right? I was just thinking about being 18, right? I was freaking knucklehead. I didn't want to listen to nobody because I had it figured out. However, here I am, many years later, evaluating the decisions I made or the decisions that I should have made, and I could have done better. However, I mean it turned out really good for me, despite all my bad decisions. So I've been very blessed, right? So pushing on.